Alrighty, it is Friday night. I'm still getting the hang of the whole live thing. One thing I was trying to figure out now is I set the live for tonight at 9 p.m., but I couldn't launch it, and I don't know if it's because I did it early, so I just had to create another one. So it kind of, I guess, belayed the fact. I don't know. So that's okay. At least I'm facing the right direction tonight, right? That's really what counts here. So I'm just gonna start journaling, and maybe some of y'all will join me, which would be great. I'm just gonna drink my tea and get caught up on some journaling. It's been a long week. So I think I'm gonna start in my passport size because I'm very close to finishing one of the notebooks. And there's nothing like the great satisfactory feeling of finishing a notebook and starting a new one. So I say that's what we should do tonight. Okay. Oops. Let's see if this will stay down. Works for me. So, and I'm just gonna show it. No one's here yet, but that's okay. But what I do is I keep this basket full of different things that I clip and save in my travels or just throughout the day or packaging I like. And I throw it in this basket, and when I have time to actually do one of these sessions, this is the basket that I work out of. The goal is to have an empty basket at the end of tonight. I don't know if that's going to happen tonight, but a bunch of videos back, I did a journal palooza where I caught up on all my things. And I tell you, it feels really good when you get caught up. So if you have a stack of things that you want to put in your journal, but you either don't know what to write about with it, or you're not sure, or you feel like it doesn't fit into your journal, just do it because the satisfaction of getting it done feels great. So I'm going to start there. And let's start with the big thing that's in the box. I mentioned in the last test live that I had saved this Italian cereal box because I liked the logo. So I'm going to cut that out and put it in my notebook. I know it seems like a weird thing to save, but I'm always looking for those kind of things, like interesting things that stand out to me to put into my notebook. So first I'm just going to cut it out roughly because it's kind of big and it's annoying. The cereal was delicious, by the way. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to use anything else from the box. I'm just going to use this little cutout, and I will recycle that. So I'm just going to cut just a little square out of here. Cool. We got trash going. And I'm gonna take my Tombow permanent adhesive, which I get off Amazon, and if anyone wants to try it, I'll send you the link, or I'll put the link here afterwards. But usually you can get a 3-pack for a good price, and they do sell it at, I know, Joann Fabrics, probably Michael's, maybe Walmart, I'm not sure, but I feel like it works the best. I used to use the Tombow Mono Pit that I used to get from Jet Pens, but since I got these since I got these off Amazon on a Prime deal, I just figured I'll just stick with this for now. So we're just gonna put some adhesive, and we're putting it there. And I do have couple other things from that trip. This is all from my New Year's trip. So I'm gonna go back into my little thing here. And it's not like I feel like I need to do things in chronological order. But for this, I kind of feel like I could just do a little spread about New Year's, right? So let's go in and see. I've got this is the hotel I always stay at. Charlie ticket for the tea from the coffee shop, little thing. So when I save stuff, it doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to use it, but I just want to have it, and then you can always trash it later. So we got some things picked out here, and that's what we're going to use on these pages. And I'm going to go ahead and write with my Sailor fountain pen, which I should probably know the name of it, but I'm really bad at that, so I do not remember. What's it called? This is actually this is made to hold TV remotes. I got it at Daiso in New Jersey, but I like it as using just for like a little carry-all for everything that I'm going to use in one session. And it's like kind of organized on the desktop. So now I'm just going to journal a little bit about New Year's. And if it's going into 2023, would that be New Year's 2023? Or, because I was there for New Year's Eve. So let's do 2022 to 2023. The artisan is here. Perfect timing for a catch-up journal session. Yes, it's Friday night. The work week is behind us for a lot of us, not everyone. And I feel like catching up is just a good thing to do on a Friday. Fun fact, also on Fridays is when I do all that cleaning in the house, because then I feel like over the weekend I have a clean house, a clean space, and I don't have to think about cleaning. So yeah, New Year's 2023. Now I'm just writing about this. It's nothing profound, but it was just a fun memory for me, so I guess it is profound to me. I'm trying to think, did I finish the cereal in Boston, or did I actually bring a box of cereal with me on the train, because I knew I wanted to eat the cereal and save the box? Sounds like something I would do, so I can't remember. So I just wrote a little thing about the logo. Next up, let's use one of the Charlie tickets. Is that what they're called? Charlie ticket? Yeah. And usually when I save multiples, I try to like use the one that's the best looking. So we're gonna actually use the one that's most flat, because then I think it'll go in my notebook better. And we're gonna do it that way. Oh wait, I like the artwork on the back of the Charlie ticket. So what I'm going to do is put one page the front of the ticket, and then the other page the back of a ticket, if that makes sense. I'll show you. Okay. Oh, we might be, did this one finish? It finished. Look at that. We finished an entire Tombow adhesive. I don't remember how many yards this was, but because I buy the multi-pack, we have one waiting in the wings for us. So now we'll start this one. Okay, so in front of the Charlie ticket, we'll put it like this. And then we'll take a second Charlie ticket at the back, and I'll put it like that, just so it has front and the back. Okay. So it's kind of like you have the front and the back. I'm just going to write about this time I actually took the train to Boston, which was almost 7 hours. I took the Acela, and it was such a better experience than flying. It was just less stressful, more comfortable. I watched Netflix. I got to read my book. I got to doze off a little bit, so it was pretty awesome. And I'm just going to write about that. I was talking about it with my coworker the other day because he was going to take the train to, is it Charlotte? I'm not sure. And I just talked about how it was like kind of like this blissful experience because you're kind of in this fixed place for a long period of time, but you have internet, you have snacks, you're comfortable. It's just like it kind of gets you away from the regular at home hustle and bustle or the work stuff. I don't know how to describe it. I used to like back in the day when planes didn't have Wi-Fi, and when I was on a flight, you're kind of off the grid, right? You're disconnected from emails and you just read your book or watch movies. It was a great time to watch like whatever movies they offered. That was one thing I always look forward to because I can't sleep on planes. I don't know about you all, but unless I'm in business class, sleeping is not an option. Any upcoming travel plans? Great question. I'm going to Albany, New York for work. I was supposed to go the week of the 13th, and today they're like, oh, by the way, can you go the week of the 6th, which is the following week, not next week, but the week after. This is already after I rearranged my entire schedule for the week of the 13th at my part-time jobs, my doctor's appointment, all that stuff. And at the end of today, I still didn't have a definitive on if I'm going the 6th or the 13th. But Albany, which may not be exciting to some people, but I love it. I go there for work once or twice a year. The people that I work with up there are super, super awesome, and I love to see them. So let me know if you have any travel plans coming up, or maybe in the summer if you're thinking about that, or you just have a travel bucket list and they're not coming up right now, but you're thinking about it. Oh, hey Amber, Amber's here, yay! I just started a little bit ago. I'm just doing a Friday night catch-up session. It's been a long week, and I have a bunch of things that I want to just put in my traveler's notebook, passport size. We're going to try to finish this notebook before we move on to anything in the regular size. So let me know how everyone's doing, if you had a good week, if you have any fun weekend plans, or maybe you have no plans and that's also a plan, because I think I'm not going to set an alarm tomorrow, that's for sure. My handwriting is gonna be bad because I feel like when I'm on camera, my handwriting is always bad. Amber says I started the second job and I'm listening. My second job and I'm listening while I cook. Ooh, what are you cooking? Is it dinner time? And I hope that your second job is going well. That's always rough, but it's nice to have that money when you need it. Joy, hi from New Jersey. Hi, Joy. I was actually supposed to go to New Jersey tomorrow to visit my cousins, but I'm just completely, I can't. Let me know where in Jersey you are. I think maybe we already talked about this. Maybe you're in North Jersey if I remember. I also need to start writing things down because I'm starting to forget things. And then to Santa, that's nice. Upcoming spring Europe trip. Trying to do a soft itinerary. My traveler's notebook. That sounds perfect. Where are you going in Europe? Or maybe you already told me. I apologize if anyone already told me this in the comments. I do have some comments on my videos I need to catch up on. I also have tons of your videos to catch up on, which is literally my to-do list for tomorrow, is to make coffee and watch all of your planning and journal videos and all that stuff, because I have just been so busy between my jobs that I want to watch your videos like when I'm in the right headspace where I can actually comment and have a conversation. I don't want to watch them like late at night where I'm falling asleep, because I feel like it's not as fun to do that. Apps for a pub, smoked wings. So you're smoking the wings? How do you do that? Do you have like a smoker maybe outside? I don't think I've ever seen a smoker up close. I live in an urban environment and I live in an apartment, so I wish I had a outdoor space to have a grill, but it just doesn't happen. Alright, so we did our Charlie ticket. I have an extra, don't need it, so it's going to go in the trash pile, which is on the floor next to me. Okay, now you all think I'm gonna be crazy, but um, Boston has Cafe Nero, which I don't know if it's actually Italian or it's one of those where it's like just a European company and they pretend to be Italian. I don't know. But in Poland, I used to go to like multiple Cafe Neros all the time. If you look at my YouTube um, homepage, the cover photo that I have is actually my Olive Traveler's notebook in my favorite Cafe Nero in Warsaw, Poland that I used to go to like every time I was there, so a couple times a year. And it was like my happy place, and it was above a traffic circle, and I would just sit there and journal and like watch all the buses and cars go by. Anyway, so every time I'm in Boston, I'm super excited that I have Cafe Nero, the American version. So I got like a frequent card where you stamp it, but I'm gonna put this in my traveler's notebook, or maybe not. I feel like I don't go. No, I'm not gonna go to Boston that much. There's no point in me trying to get all 9 stamps. So I'm gonna put this in my traveler's notebook, and I ordered a croissant. I think it was New Year's Day, and the wrapping was all clean. So of course I saved the wrapping because here in my mind I'm like, oh, I could put this in my traveler's notebook. Maybe cut out the Italian coffee company. So that's weird me. Let me know if you have a Cafe Nero where you live, because I think the closest one here is probably New York, or maybe it is Boston. I'm not sure. Their coffee's really good. Also, it just gives me good memories. So I'm just gonna put this little, whatever you call it, frequent flyer card. Okay. I am drinking some tea. It is 9:17 p.m. here. I would love to have a coffee, but then I'll be like super excited after this, and so we're just doing tea. It's 1 tea bag of peppermint leaves and 1 tea bag of this, how do I say it in English? Ceylon tea, that I get at the Middle Eastern market. That's really good. So it's like black tea with mint. That was a long way of me saying that. And because it's a coffee shop, I'm gonna take some of my coffee washi tape just for decoration because it feels very apt. And maybe I'll do like a crisscross for fun. The artisan says, we'll try to cover as much as I can during the month. I will be there. Oh, Spain. That is gonna be just awesome. Yes, I'm telling you, you can save like almost anything. If you're in pubs in England or Germany or the US and they have those little coasters, save one of your coasters, save your hotel business card, save fancy little napkins you get at cafes. Like, just get a nice plastic envelope in your travels to keep in your bag and just plop those things in there. And then when you get home or you're back to your hotel room or whatever, you have something cool to journal about, and it's free stuff. You're not like spending money. So let's just be crazy and just do like a slash. You are in North Jersey. I feel like we talked about this. Yes, Yoseka in 2 weeks. Okay, you'll have to let us know how that goes. I have yet to be there. I have yet to order anything from them, but I always hear good things. So I think in this one, I'm just gonna write that I miss Warsaw. And my Hey Rains band. And I'm just gonna write memories of sitting in Cafe Nero at Rondo ONZ, which is like the intersection I used to always go to. Okay. Okay, we have 7 people here. If you haven't popped in the chat, feel free to do so. Let us know where you're from. Let me know like what you're working on, how your week went, whatever you want to share with the group. Don't be shy. And I'll just reiterate what I'm doing is I'm catching up on my journaling. I keep a basket of things I collect just in general and throw them in here when I know I have some time to sit down and put them in my traveler's notebook. Another tip I have when you're trying to catch up is to limit what you can use. So before I started streaming, I picked out just a couple different markers, my fountain pens, I picked out my Kita tape, two or three washi tapes, and that's it. And I can't go looking for stuff as I'm journaling because that sidetracks me. We're just using what we have. Because I talked about this before with the choice overload, you might end up getting distracted. I know we all have that perfect, like, oh, this washi tape would match this thing perfectly. Let me go look for it. No, because you're going to start looking for it and you're going to get sidetracked. So this is what we're doing. Put it in this little remote control basket that I got at Daiso in New Jersey, and that's what we're doing. So we're all caught up. Chicago, love Chicago. There's a small chance, by small I mean 1 in 9 chance, that I'll be moving to Illinois this summer, but not in Chicago. Unfortunately, I think it's about a little bit less than an hour from Chicago. There's a smoker in the kitchen. They smoke, then they fry them. Interesting. That sounds really good. I mean, I'm sure it's delicious. Yes, Katie from Katie's Nesting Spot is here. I know you commented and I didn't respond yet. I had such a long day, and then, yeah. So tomorrow's my catch-up day to watch everyone's videos, just so y'all know. I'm not forgetting about you. You're swatching a new washi that came today. Ooh, let us know what kind of washi it is. I feel like you were calling me out. I just get like, I don't know. I feel like if you're into stationery, you're into journaling, you're into all that stuff, planning, like you have this perfect image in your head and you want to sit down and make the perfect thing. But sometimes that can be limiting, right? Like I just limit myself and I say, you're using these markers, you're doing it on Friday night, you're getting as much done as you can, and then that's it. Because otherwise I'll overthink it and go crazy. So I was just saying, we put the coffee card in there, I wrote a little memory, put some washi tape, and we're moving on. Pet tape, my first rolls I ever bought. Are those the ones... Where did you get the pet tape? Because I really don't know my washi tape brands like I should. I mostly buy MT, but I think Jet Pens and Tokyo Pen Shop and a couple other places had a new... It's not Mark's Ink, is it Hank's or something? I don't remember. I was trying not to buy more washi tape, but all the designs are just awesome, so I always want to try everything. So I'm thinking about cutting out this wrapper from the coffee shop. I mean, I like the Cafe Nero, but this is not going to fit in my passport size, so let's take a look and maybe cut that out and put it in one of my regular size. Even though I know I just finished a notebook, and do I want to go into like my journal notebook? Yes, we're gonna just take, we're doing a quick switch. I know I said I was only gonna work on one, but now let's go over to regular size. I tried to start this regular size traveler's notebook as like a journal, but I feel like I would fill these notebooks up too fast for what I want to write about. So let's just, that can be something we think about. So I'm just going to cut out this Cafe Nero, although, no, it's not too big. The backing is hard to take off as a style of tape, the ones with the clear background. Oh, is it like these Kita that I have? I bought these clear Kita, and it confused me because I was just dumb and I thought that you can't take the backing off, it's only in the one side. So I was using it like a tab, and I didn't realize you can take all of the tape off in it and it's clear, because I don't read the instructions apparently. I love the journal. I've gotten back into doing my junk journal. I love all kinds of tea. Yes, I mean, I love all kinds of tea, all kinds of coffee. But I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do more coffee because I've had plenty today so far. Plus, I bought a new espresso that I'm going to open tomorrow. That's also like a weird ritual I have when I have catch-up days and I want to watch videos. I buy like a new flavored espresso or a new tea or whatever, and I don't touch it until I'm having like the fun time. It's just kind of like a nice little treat. And I have a manual espresso machine where you like pull it yourself. I like using those more than my espresso because you have a little bit more control over the strength and what brands you can buy and all that kind of stuff. I really don't discriminate when it comes to caffeine. I'll have whatever. Yeah, they really are hard to take the backing off because maybe it's because I don't have long nails. I did buy from the Dollar Tree like these tweezers. I haven't really used them yet, but I see a lot of you like use them to lay down your stuff in your planner spreads and all that. Because I really struggle even more when I'm on camera. I'll never be able to get the back of a sticker off if y'all are watching me. So I'm just gonna take this little, this is literally from a croissant that I bought, and paste it in here and maybe do like a little blurb about how much I miss being in that country. We're gonna use this tape. I was thinking about putting washi down, but because this paper is kind of fragile, I'm afraid if it clumps up, it'll get pulled off. But maybe I'm making a horrible mistake. See, Amber, I used to watch you using the tweezers, and I was like, I gotta get me some tweezers and try this. I just haven't done anything yet where I needed to use them. Oh my goodness, Katie, you teach 3rd grade? That, bless your heart, because that is, whew. My sister teaches 7th and 8th, and I don't know how she does it. The only level I teach is college, and that's a little bit easier because they're adults, but 3rd graders, I can't even imagine. Just the energy alone and the noise factor. My niece is in 3rd grade, and wow. Can you imagine 20 or 30 of her in one room for 8 hours a day? Whew. So, yep, so we're having some tea, we're catching up on journaling. Your substitute, okay. Oh, yeah, well, it's always hard about substitutes because they get kind of thrown in and you don't always know what you're up against, and also the students know you're a substitute, so they kind of can take advantage of that. Yes, hats off to teachers because 3rd graders, whew. I mean, I'm sure there's good things about it and all that, but I don't think I could do it. Maybe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually just leave this in here. This is what I'm thinking I'll do. We're getting it off our queue, right? We're putting it in our traveler's notebook. I'm gonna leave it here. That way next time I wanna like do a journal session, I'll come across this page and it'll like spark a memory. I think that might be what I do with this example. And I mentioned in a video a long time ago, I watched, what's her page called? Is it Journal de Sylvie or Sylvie's Journal? She recommends when you go on trips that you pre-decorate your traveler's notebook, which don't know why I never thought of that. It's absolutely genius, and I talked about it in one of my videos that I thought her idea was so smart because it kind of like motivates you when you're out and about that you can just quickly write something and then you feel like your page is done. And then also looking at, I think she talked, how did she word it? Like looking at a blank page can be intimidating or not spark anything. So by pre-decorating and just putting stickers and stuff amongst your journal pages, it helps you. I don't know if any of y'all do that, but you spend a day with them. Now you have more washi. Hey, washi is not as expensive as other things could be, right? You could have left there and bought a $300 Pilot fountain pen, right? So washi is a good alternative. And this is one of the hotels I stay at. So I'm just gonna put in here. I feel like this is actually just gonna turn into like a business card thing, but that is the easiest thing to save. I have a couple more business cards in here, I know. So we're just taking this little empty washi tape. I think this might be one of their Scandinavian designs or something. I always fall for the Scandinavian designs. I don't know what it is about them. I think I just like the blocks of color, maybe. It's like a visual thing. I'm just gonna write. Just gonna put where I always stay. And that's it. I don't have to write anything profound. I'm just saving a memory, writing something about it, etc. So I think Boston is done with. Let's just pull something out of our little basket here and see what we got. So I went to a winery the day after Christmas with my sister in New Jersey, and I saved like the, what do you call it? Information sheet about the wines when you do a taste testing. And I just had it in my bag, and now that I'm looking at it, there really isn't much like visually that's interesting. So maybe what I'll do is I'll cut out the wine that was my favorite, or I'll just maybe like cut out this classic wine flight thing, because the other side is just like a price list. And now I can't even remember which was my favorite. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna cut out the top, and there is a little logo, William Heritage Winery, at the top. So we'll just put that in. I remember buying a bottle, but I don't think I've opened it yet. It was fun, and we got there right when they opened because it was Monday after Christmas, and we both had off. Or it was the day after Christmas, and we got there right when we opened, and it felt like we had a winery to ourselves. It was pretty cool. So I'm just gonna paste this in here. Whoops, that's the Tombow, that's dead. Okay. And let us know what you're working on. If you're choosing to work on something, maybe you're just having tea and just listen to me ramble. That's also fun. I always say that like I'm a day person when it comes to journaling, because I feel like late at night I don't always make the best decisions, or I'm not in the right headspace. But one video I did, it was like a late night. I was trying to switch it up, and I felt like I did pretty good that night. So maybe some nights are better than others. And I think for consistency, I'm just gonna do a border with this washi tape, just because it actually kind of goes well with the yellow paper color. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Use my Sailor fountain pen, which just has the regular black Sailor ink in it for now. I always want to be like a wine person, and I never am because I live alone and I like red wine, but it seems wasteful to open a bottle when I really only can drink like one glass. So I don't really like buy wine or like pay attention to it as much, only when I'm out somewhere like with other people and they have wine. So yeah. Okay, next up, let's take, this is just a random cutout from when I went to the, this art museum in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and there was like this collage exhibit with, I think it's self-portraits through mixed media and collages, and I just really enjoyed it, so I cut out, I don't know, just one of these, and I'm just gonna put it in here. I might actually not even write anything. I might just write like a single word. I don't know. Sometimes we don't have to write anything or say anything. Yeah, we're just leaving it there. And then another thing is this face cream that my sister gave me. Well, I've used all of this brand, and when she was on sale, she got me like the dual pack for Christmas, or it was my birthday. I can't remember what it was. I just like the little artwork on it, so we're just gonna cut that out. You have to get the rabbit wine opener. Okay, well, let me tell you this whole story because I have one. It's just like it's like a screw top thing, right? I bought it at Total Wine like a week or two ago. It would not fit the bottle that I bought when I was there that night. So I found the receipt. I'm like, well, do I return it? But maybe I need to give it another go because I tried Googling it and look at YouTube, and other people seem to say it was great, but for me it was like working. So I don't know if I was doing something wrong. That is absolutely a possibility. Okay, now I noticed this one. I like this with the pink color, right? And then there's like a face cream in the house. But this one's nice too, but we're only doing one. We don't have time to do. We're catching up here. We're not doing like a whole montage. Okay. I'm just cleaning up the sides of the cardboard a little bit, which I really don't need to do. I should just put it in there and be quiet. I might not even say anything about this either. I might just put it in there. That is one nice thing about the passport size. It's like you don't feel like you have to really fill up a page. It's not difficult to fill up a page. My phone was fully charged when I started this, so I don't know how long we'll go. I'm assuming we're gonna go at least until 10 o'clock, but we'll see. Then, of course, when I went to the Biltmore, I think I already journaled about the Biltmore, but I wanted to cut out a picture of the house again and put it in my journal and maybe just have it like as decoration. So we're gonna go, there's my partner stamp from the Paper Seahorse in Tampa when I was there. And, oh, that's right, when I was in Philly at the Omoizaka one, she stamped it and then she put this I stamped it, but then she gave me this thing to cover it with. The stamps are not easy to work with as you'd think. It's hard to get a flat surface and make sure it's fully inked because you're standing in a store with people surrounding you, right? So it's not easy. So we're just gonna go with, I never got to go to the winery at the Biltmore. That's a funny story about how my iPhone completely froze and I couldn't even reset it. And I had no internet access, I had no signal on top of it. I was by myself in a different state, in a different place. Didn't know how to get back to my hotel because I had no GPS because my phone was frozen. So I had to go into the hotel that they have on the land at attached to the winery. And the nice girl working at the front desk map quested how to get to the nearest T-Mobile store from the estate. So here I am, a crazy person, being I don't know how to get out of here because it's really hard to drive on and off this property. It's the biggest house in the country, so it's this huge place. And yeah, I felt like a weirdo, and luckily I went. Of course, T-Mobile tells me, well, we can't do anything for you. Go to the Geek Squad at Best Buy. I was like, well, how do I get to Best Buy? I'm not from here. So they told me how to get to Best Buy. I went and he did something where you have to press both buttons 20 times in a row, which he's like, oh, you could have Googled this. I was like, my phone screen is stuck on something. How could I Google it? I don't have anything else with me. It's one of those things where it's when you buy a a set of scissors and you have to cut off the packaging. It's like, well, this is not gonna help me. Let me tell you, Katie, when I first went to, my stamps from the paper seahorse are all jacked up for that reason. Like, I don't know why, I just couldn't focus. I was feeling overwhelmed. Oh, and then at the DC Pen Show last year, Traveler's Company was there and they had all different kinds of stamps. Like this one I got, the Keep On Traveling in Your Mind. Obviously, you can see how horrible that is. Because I was also overwhelmed and there was people around. And it's like there's not even like a flat surface to put your book down. You're like trying to hurry up because other people want to take the stamp and use it too. So yeah, they need to rethink the whole stamp game. Hallmark Channel is filming a Christmas movie for 2023 at the Biltmore or Baltimore. That sounds awesome. I enjoyed the Biltmore was one of them on my bucket list when I first, like in high school, when I saw Samantha Brown, who I got to meet in 2019. I have a picture with her. When Samantha Brown did an episode on PBS about it or whatever, I was like fascinated by this idea that it was the biggest house in the United States. So it was on my travel bucket list for ages. And this summer I finally went, and it was cool. It was a bit pricey, I felt like. Like the ticket was like $120 just to like walk through the house. But it was like an experience to do. But I don't know if I would really go back unless I was with someone who really wanted to go. But I was there in the summer. Maybe it's like also beautiful at Christmas time for a Hallmark movie. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be cool. I don't know if anyone watched it was a Netflix Christmas movie. The one with Lindsay Lohan this year. It was just kind of, predictable and silly. But I thought it was good. And I'm not really a Christmas movie person. Sometimes it's fun to watch those things and just like let your mind wander. So we're just going to paste this in my regular Traveler's Notebook and maybe use it another time. Stamp Caravan, yes. At least there was a station to stamp at and everyone there was so happy and excited. We were all chatting and it felt less high pressure. Yeah, because when you're at that kind of thing, you're with other people who are also there to get stamps, right? Like, it's exciting. I just felt like at the pen show and even at Omoizaka, I was the only person there who brought a traveler's notebook. Other people were shopping for other things. And then at the DC Pen Show, you have just like regular people walking through the hotel lobby, or like they're there for the fountain pens. They don't care about the stamps and they would like bump into you and stuff. So there needs to be like a booth where you can sit down and put your stamp in and like have a moment of silence. That would be a good idea. But I see some people now, when you order stuff from the partner shops, they put a stamp on a piece of paper for you. So then I guess you can put it in your notebook, which would be awesome. Okay, moving on. Next random thing. I save fortune cookie fortunes for my traveler's notebook. So the last time I got Chinese, I saved this in my box here, my basket. I'm just gonna open up the fortune. Fun fact, last semester in my creative writing seminar I had to take, I wrote a poem entirely out of fortunes I collected from fortune cookies. And it was a conversation between me and a fortune cookie through the words. And it got some good feedback. It was interesting. My professor was like, okay, this is different. I don't know. I just always thought about using fortune cookie in that way. This says, unveil your ideas, be ready to act on them. Oh, okay. I guess I gotta get ready. So I'm just gonna I think I'm gonna just take some of this washi tape. This is a blue, I think I got this at Kinokuniya in New Jersey, if I recall. This is blue plaid, and of course it's MT. So they do, now did you have to ask for it in your order, or do they kind of just automatically send you? Because I was a little miffed the last time when I ordered something from Travelers Company USA and I asked for the Travelers Times because they normally give it to you, and they didn't give me one. And I put it in the comment section and everything, so I was not happy about that. And then I see everyone else in their orders like doing their unboxing videos and like, oh, the new Travelers Times, like, yeah, I didn't get mine. Okay, so we're just putting a little fortune cookie in there. And then the title of the poem I wrote was called Dear Fortune Cookie, so I think I'm just going to write really randomly. Dear Fortune Cookie. Sunny's here. You're late. That's okay. We're gonna at least be here till 10 o'clock. I mean, honestly, I would keep going till my battery dies. Um, I don't know how long that's gonna be, but we're getting used to it. Getting used to the lives. Um, well, but you bring up a good point because what I should have did was not like stamp it on. Like I shouldn't have opened my traveler's notebook and like picked it. Like when I went to the Paper Seahorse, I was like, oh, I'm gonna use it on this new cover. That's from the DC Pen Show. I should have just like got blank pieces of paper and just stamped a bunch and then insert it in my notebooks at a later date when I felt more comfortable or whatever. I didn't think of that till after the fact. Yeah, I felt like back in the day, they used to always give you a traveler's times. I have at least two somewhere here. I don't cut them out and put them in my notebook or anything. It would be kind of cool, but I just don't do that. Then my niece gave me a little plushie for my birthday, or I forget what it was for. And it was just like soft and squishy, and it said it in French. So I was like, I'm gonna save that and put that in my traveler's notebook. Just another random thing I like. You're setting up a passport for your book journaling. Okay, well, we got the book conversations coming. Let me know how you book journal. Like, do you do it when you're finished the book, or do you write about it while you're reading it? I started in my last live, I talked about a book I just finished. I just started this book last night from the library. It's called The Orchard by Christina Gorcheva Newberry. So good. I'm only like 30 pages in. I just read it before bed last night, but it's about a group of friends growing up through like the fall of the Soviet Union, and then I guess they go back years later and find each other. So really like poetic language. If anyone's ever lived in an Eastern European country or former Soviet state, or they did live in a Soviet state, there's a lot of cultural references in here and nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. So it's just also written so well. It brings back a lot of memories for me. And yeah, so reading that. And I talked about this too. I'm reading a book about mechanical engineering. I don't know why, it just looked cool. I like learning about stuff, and this is kind of like a book with pictures and just something different to read. It actually has a lot of history in it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not any kind of engineer. I just thought that was kind of cool. Maybe I'll become an engineer after this. Yeah, I don't know how you all pick books you want to read, but I literally just walk in a store or a library and just pick random things off the shelves, and I read the back and then I read the first page, and if I'm in, I get it. This was on the new arrival shelf at the library, and when I saw it and I started reading it, I was like, definitely for me. I studied in Russia, and then I lived there for years later. I lived there for 4 years before I moved here to DC. So it also brings up a lot of like memories for me. You wrote on the book details, publishing date, pages, authors, and I write a few notes as I read. Okay, that's a good idea because then you can kind of keep track. If someone asks you like, oh, like you think, oh, I remember reading a book about this topic, and someone's like, what was it called? You can kind of go back and look and journal about it once I'm done reading. Okay, yeah, that sounds really good. I think in my last live I talked about how I was gonna try to do something like that in my creative planner, where I just wrote about the book I just finished, 50 Sounds, how it made me feel, and then I drew the little cover there. What did you study? Um, well, when I was in Russia, I studied Russian language and Soviet culture. I actually studied Russian art history and architecture as well. That was part of what that was like a little bit less than half of what our curriculum was. Um, and my bachelor's is in Russian and Chinese and linguistics. And now I'm finishing, and I have a master's. That's a whole. I already have a master's degree in intelligence security policy and Eastern European studies. I have two diplomas. I got that a long time ago in order to have the job that I have now. And now I'm finishing a master's in English where I study language and literature. I'm actually finishing this semester. So obviously, I like to read and take classes. Um, so this is also, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna cut this out. This also has a story. I feel like everything I have has a story. Um, on my trip for New Year's, me and my friend, I don't know where we got this idea. We want to do a taste comparison test of different choco pies. They're like cake cookies with marshmallow in it. I forget what they're called. There's like a Korean one, like and then there's the American one called moon pie, and then there's a Korean one, and then there's a Turkish one. There's all different brands, right? And we like went to H Mart and we bought a bunch to do like a comparison taste testing and rank which cookies we thought were best and why. This is like our New Year's Eve activity. And this one, like this big pie, the mascot is the pie as a cheerleader. And I just thought that was funny. So I saved one of the wrappers from this victory pie, and I'm gonna cut out the cheerleader. It was delicious, by the way. Um, so maybe I'll put this on my squishy page since it looks kind of squishy. So we're just cutting it out here. Why they chose? Well, I guess if it's called victory pie, and they, I don't know, like a victory, like you're cheering for victory. So I'm just gonna put that in my notebook. Whoops. And then maybe I'm just gonna write this. I'm using the Lamy. What did we decide this was? Is this the All Star? And this has my Waterman blue ink in it that I like. I'm just gonna put more New Year's shenanigans. Whenever I write in a fountain pen, I always feel like I have to write in cursive. Does anyone else think that? I don't know why. I guess because it flows easier. So we're doing a taste test and ranking of Korean cookies. Okay. Then I saved this banana. I bought a banana. What do you call it? Thing you hang bananas off of when I was at Daiso, New Jersey. And I just like the picture of the banana. So I think what I'm going to do, I guess it's not going to fit really. I think we might have to put it in a regular size. We're just alternating tonight. That's what we're doing. Passport size doesn't always work out, so we're just going to put stuff in a regular size. There's no rules, right? So I'm just going to cut off a little bit so it fits on the page. Maybe I'll just cut off the top here. And then we can just kind of put it on the page like that. Although I kind of like it doing it that way, so it looks like the bananas are hanging. Let's do that. Wait, did I do it right? Okay. I just think it's interesting that like suddenly I'm able to YouTube live. I'm not complaining. I'm very thankful. Thank you, YouTube. Please don't turn me off. But like suddenly it worked where I was able to do lives. Maybe if you all want to do one, it'll work for you too. I do not recommend the banana chocolate pie. I decided to be my favorite fruit. Well, you know, I'm not a fan of marshmallows unless they're on top of hot chocolate. So, um, I ate the cookies as part of the taste test, but I that's why I picked ones that don't have like marshmallows in it. It's just too marshmallowy. But when you go to like the Korean stores and all that stuff, there's like huge displays and people buy them. So a lot of people like marshmallows, just not me, not a fan. Okay, I think that's it for our regular size. And I'm not using the writing boards. I have them here just in case we did want to write something for both sizes. I just don't need to use them when I'm kind of just pasting stuff in. And I already talked about only picking out a few things when you're doing catch-up sessions, right? We already went over that. So I was like, okay, notebook, a writing board, markers, an adhesive, a pen to write with, and pick some Kita or washi. That's it. Okay, so when I went to Tampa and Sarasota, Florida last May when I went to Paper Seahorse, my friend bought me this lavender stress ball. There was this awesome lavender store where we like talked to the woman and we had like such a fun time there. And I saved the ribbon and the little book that it comes with. I don't know if the ribbon is gonna work on my traveler's notebook because then it like, I don't know. What are we thinking about the ribbon? I mean, it's pretty, but maybe I can just put it on something else, like a pencil cup or something, and maybe just cut out this little logo of the farm that they grow stuff on. Don't know. We're gonna put the ribbon to the side and hang it off of a pen in my pen holder. And I actually use, when I'm sitting here at work, and I'm stressed during meetings, I actually use the stress relief ball and it like releases the smell of lavender because I guess there's lavender leaves inside of the ball. So it does work because I usually feel better. I just love the smell of lavender anyway. So I'm just gonna cut this off. And we're gonna put it here. And I think I'm just gonna put like Florida 2022 memories. The woman working at the store was Renee, and we would always talk about like, oh, I wonder what Renee's doing today. Like, how's Renee? And then I'm just gonna put a quote, just another manic Monday. In reference to the stress ball. Okay, Katie says, you've seen people use ribbon to make a tab along the edge of a page, fold, and staple. Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I mean, I guess this would staple. It's just a little sheer, because it's like netting. I don't know, I just feel like the bow is really nice. I don't want to like mess that up. We'll simmer on it. We'll think about it. But that's a good idea. I used to mind that. I used to be like very like everything has to be within the four corners of the page. But I'm finding myself not really caring as much. It's like people who are okay with keeping the price tags on their pens and stuff. That would drive me nuts. I have to do everything I can to get the barcode off. I don't want to look at a barcode, you know? Some more business cards. These are traveler's notebooks from when you get like the sets or whatever. I'm gonna save these because I don't know. I'm not ready to use them. Like my pocket palette. More business cards. We are gonna do these. So this is from a tea. What's the word? She's like a tea. Not maker. Like she makes her own tea blends and all that stuff. And she's like, yeah. I don't know the word for it, but I get her tea from the farmer's market. So we're just gonna Oh, junk journal type technique. Yeah, okay. I haven't really I guess this kind of is like a junk journal. I refer to it as my traveler's notebook because I used to travel a lot, but now I don't travel like I used to. So it's kind of just become my memory keeper slash junk journal slash when I do travel um, notebook. So I'm just gonna write tea time and quickly try to draw a little tea thing. Okay. Um, more. This is a Eurasian market that they sell like Georgian food, Armenian food, Uzbek food, all that kind of stuff. Food that I love. So I'm just gonna put that business card in here. Um, and then this is a Chinese restaurant I went to in Albany on my last work trip. And I just went. Don't know if I'll go again on this upcoming trip because I'm not going to be in that part of town. I don't think, but you never know. Okay, and I do have a boarding pass from my last trip, but I feel like I have so many boarding passes throughout all my notebooks that we can just put that aside. I'll get another boarding pass on my next trip. And then I talked about this before. This is from packaging from a pancake mix I buy. It's Russian. And I just like the logo. I've already used it, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. If I want to put it in here, I kind of wanted to save it to put on like a cover. But all these notebooks, the covers. Oh, let's put it on the back of my December daily. I think that would look kind of nice. I don't know. It's the last item in our basket, so we're just going for it because then like we can tell ourselves that we're done. Maybe I'll cut in half and do one on one. Let's just cut it in half. Yeah, see, I'm paranoid, Katie. Like, I always think like, oh, my phone battery's gonna die, and I'm like, how am I gonna get on the plane if my battery's dead? It's never happened where I've been out or my phone battery completely died, except that one time when I was at the Biltmore. So I still get a paper pass, and until recently at work we used to have to get a paper like you had to have a boarding pass as like proof that you came back from your trip. It's dumb. It was like a federal government rule. I don't think they really do it anymore. So everyone used to always get the boarding passes because in theory work could ask you for your boarding pass to prove that you got on the plane, I guess, and you came back. I don't know. I feel like you would know that in other ways. So I still just always get a boarding pass. Just like when I'm at self-checkout at the grocery store, like I always get a printed receipt because if you're walking out, they might think that you stole something, right? So I just like to have a record of it. I think I'm gonna put one here, although it kind of looks weird just by itself. I'm gonna put one like as a header, no, as a footer. Oh wait, let's get even crazier. Let's do a header and a footer. So let's do one on top and one on the bottom. And then one time I was connecting through somewhere in Spain, and I don't know what happened, but like when I was leaving Moscow, they never gave me a boarding pass for my connecting flight. So I got to Spain and I was going through passport control, and I didn't have a boarding pass. I didn't have a digital one because I think that was kind of before it was super common. This is 2014 maybe, and I had to get like pulled aside by security and like questioned. And like I explained to him, I was like, okay, well in Moscow they didn't give me a boarding pass. I didn't know that. Like I thought it was all in the same. I don't know what I thought. I was very stressed. So I had to like convince the guy. Luckily I speak Spanish, so it like wasn't an issue. But I had to convince him um, that I wasn't doing anything bad. I was like literally Aeroflot did not give me a boarding pass for the connecting flight from Barcelona to Philadelphia. So yeah, now I'm paranoid about boarding passes. So I have like a little header and footer. What can I write in the middle here? Maybe we'll use like this Zig marker, Zig writer, because it's black and I think that would go well with that. What can I write? That's our last thing, and I have writer's block. I'm gonna write just, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write like 2 random phrases that I always heard or used when I lived there. And I think I'll use the thicker one. Oh geez, that's gonna look good. Do you need a bag? Is like the first thing they ask you when you're at any grocery store. And the doors are closing, which is like what you always hear on the metro. Yeah, okay, so we're just doing that. I think we're done. We're just saving our little, this is from the limited edition hotel one, and then this is, I guess, from the coffee one, and this is from the pocket palette. So I'm not ready to paste those in anywhere just yet. I'll throw them in my pile of Traveler's Notebooks material. So, okay, success. I feel caught up. I'm not where I want to be. I want to like, does anyone have this thing where like you need to have everything? I want to have, my goal is to have like just a lineup of my notebooks that I'm currently using. So like my planner, my work planner, creative planner, my traveler's notebook I'm currently using is like a junk journal. My journal that I'm writing lots of pages and thoughts on. I want to have it all on like one shelf with like one pencil case that has all those things there. That way I can, on a whim, like sit down and have everything right there what I'm currently using and just get to work. Because like I said before, you start looking for something you want to use, or oh, I want to use this pen, and then you're spending so much time looking for it that you're not getting anything done. So I don't know. That might just be me. So is anyone doing anything fun this weekend? Have any specific plans? I'm definitely going to catch up on your videos tomorrow. I also have to work my part-time job at some point. But here's the thing. They didn't give me like what I need yet to do the rest of my job. So I'm supposed to work all these hours, but I don't have work yet. And what they'll end up doing is they'll assign it to me like at the last minute, and I'll be scrambling to finish stuff like a day before they need it. It just drives me crazy. Like, give it to me now so I can start working on it. Yeah, so this is my hotel one, and my blue passport size, and the coveted olive one. This is what I'm using as my planner. We can go in my planner and check off one of my goals of going live, because we're doing that. So I do like a little table of contents, which I think I got from Amber. Can't remember who inspired that one. So let's check off. Where do we have? Live stream. Look, I even wrote live stream Twitch, Friday night journal sesh, ? And we did that. So we're gonna put January 2023. Done. I'm glad it's working out on YouTube because the Twitch platform is just a lot for my eyes. I'm gonna maybe work on setting up an account and using it, but I mean, I have the account set up, but I haven't streamed yet. Sunny Tracy would say no plans for me, knitting, reading, and dog cuddling. Oh, that sounds nice. I wish I had a dog. I will be dog sitting this summer for my coworker for a couple weeks, so that'll be fun. Knitting, definitely not my forte. My niece is super into crochet, like super hardcore. She crochets a million different things. When she stayed with me last summer, she crocheted an entire purse of different squares. Like, she follows TikTok stuff and she's super into it. She had a crochet themed party and learning session, and I got yarn and stuff to like so she could teach me how to do it, because it's supposed to also like be relaxing. But I never really get past the first two steps, and my brain's just not wired like hers. But good on you for being able to do knitting with 2 different needles. That's got to be hard. Makers make. I crochet a lot too. You should learn. Yeah, I'm trying. It's one of my other things. I know how to do, what is it called? I can do a chain. I can do a single crochet. It's one of those things where if you don't use it, you lose it. And I did it probably in the summer, and then maybe once in the fall, and then I kind of forget. So every time I'm with her, she has to show me how to start it over again. Kat's here. Hi, Kat. Welcome. Happy Friday night if you are somewhere where it's Friday night. We're catching up on some journaling, traveler's notebooks / junk journal, whatever you want to call it. Checking off my goal list of doing a live stream. We did it. I would love to do it regularly on Friday nights, but we'll see what kind of works out. And I would really love to be able to stagger, like do some during the day in the US. That way, I know I have some subscribers who are in Asia that they would be able to, maybe it's easier for them to log on because of the time difference. It's Saturday. Okay, Kat, where are you? Let us know. Thanks, Amber. I'm so glad you came. I hope your dinner and your smoked, all that stuff turns out good, because that sounds really good. I picked up Chinese for dinner, and it was good, but it wasn't great. I should have went to the place that I know I like. I wanted to try a different place, but you just got to go with it sometimes. Tomorrow I'm gonna make. I bought these frozen vegetable dumplings from H Mart, and I'm gonna make those, and like a broccoli saute thing, and drink a lot of coffee. Good on you for cooking. Now, Amber, can I ask, do you follow recipes? Because that's one of my issues. I don't like to follow recipes, and I just make stuff up. And now I'm learning that that's causing all kinds of issues, because it's hard to know, like, to think about what you want to make and to know what ingredients you need. So I did buy a cookbook, and I'm going to actually start prepping and following recipes. Oh, you work in a restaurant kitchen. Okay, so you know what you're doing. See, we're not. Near Korea. Wow, yeah, it must be Saturday morning there. Kat, I'm not sure what exactly I'm gonna go live. I was thinking Friday nights, but I end up taking a lot of weekend trips, so I didn't know Friday night's always gonna work here. But I was just talking about how I would love to do something that's also good for anyone who's located in Asia, which would, I guess, be during the day here. So maybe it's evening time there. Maybe more people are home and they have the chance to journal and do stuff. So let's play around with it. I could do a poll on my community tab and see. 1:14 p.m. Oh, geez. Okay, so you're 13 hours. No. 13 hours? Yeah, you're 13 hours ahead of us. So if I did something like, if I did an early morning live, it would be evening time for you. So maybe that would be like a nice time for your journals. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But now that I have the capability to go live, I want to go live all the time. Like, I would love to have, like, every time I want to do some journaling or something, just to go live and see if anyone wants to join me, because it's fun. Yeah, so Amber kind of follows a basic guide and then change it. Yeah, Amber, that's another thing. I'm kind of picky. Like, I don't eat cheese, and I don't like anything that has cheese in it, which really limits me, especially when I go to American restaurants or Italian restaurants, because Americans love to put cheese in everything. One time I ordered like a side of like rice, and it came with sprinkled cheese on top. So, yeah, I'm one of those people. Yeah, so 9:14. So I'm on the East Coast. Oh wait, no, Amber, you're not on the East Coast if you're an hour behind because it's 10:14 here. So okay, I'm pretty sure there's also a thing where you can go live with other people, but I didn't look into that yet. Did you show your traveler's notebooks? Sure, let's take a look. So what we did mostly tonight was this blue. Also, I'm sorry if the screen shakes. My tripod is a little bit weird. This is a blue passport size. And I took some items that I've saved from packaging and put them in there and wrote about them a little bit from trips and just things that I want to save and talk about. And then this notebook in here is for my December daily. So I have two notebooks in this passport size, navy. This is what I use as my creative planner. This is the regular size olive edition. There's two notebooks in here. I used to be a 3 notebook person, but then it gets really thick once you start filling the pages, so I pretty much stick with 2 at a time. Here's my Create 2023 planner, which I have in the horizontal, and then this is a cream colored blank page notebook. This is what I use to kind of plan my YouTube channel and my video ideas and brainstorming and what else? Yeah, which I need to do more of, but I did do my goals list and write out some goals, use some washi tape for decoration. Do you take it? No, honestly, I don't take my traveler's notebooks out that much. I took my, when I do go out, I tend to take my planning traveler's notebook because like the other night, for example, I wanted to think about some things I want to do. So I brought this one with me. Usually I save things and these stay at home and then I come home and journal about them unless I'm on a trip. So when I actually take a trip and travel, I will take one of these just to have with me and when I feel inspired, and I'll do my best to put things in my journal during the trip. But again, it all depends. So this is the hotel edition from, was it 2021? I think 2021. Everyday carry. So this is so I use this as my planner. So I don't necessarily take it with me a lot of places, but if I do want to go out somewhere and do some creative planning or do some doodling or write about a book I'm reading or whatever, I will do it in this one. This is more of like my junk journal slash actual traveling, save all kinds of different things. So like this is a good example. When I took my road trip in August, I brought this notebook with me. I did some pre-decorating with stamps and washi tape. Then I saved things along on my trip, and I did write while I was on my trip. So I stayed in a cabin at one place, and it was just awesome, a great place to sit down and write in your notebook. So I did that. Art museum. Then when I filmed my Fill Your Notebook Challenge video, then we came back and did that. So unfortunately, most of my traveler's notebooks aren't really chronological. It's kind of like what I have at the time and if I'm taking it with me or whatever. So they're not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily go in chronological order. I'm struggling this year with my planners and journals. Okay, we've come to the right place, Kat, because we have a lot of planning and journaling experts here. So what's one thing you kind of want to change or maybe try out? I struggle with that a lot. That's why I like to watch a lot of YouTube videos, because you all show things that inspire me or I would have never thought to use that in a certain way. And sometimes I watch your videos, like I play them, even if it's ones I've already watched, I play them on my computer screen while I'm trying to plan or work on my traveler's notebook, because it's nice to hear people talk about something that you're also doing, if that makes sense. Like listening to music, yes, that's great. watching a TV show in the background, whatever. But like when I'm using my fountain pens, if I'm watching someone do a video where they're testing inks or talking about fountain pens, I think I watched one recently where Marcy Me did a review of the Pilot Prera, and like just watching that just made me want to start like using my fountain pen more. So just things like that kind of helps. You have a Hobonichi Cousin A5 that you carry. And I keep my classic happy planner with my social media and budget at home on my desk. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm always afraid of losing stuff, which has never happened. But it's kind of nice to have a designated one that you carry and a designated one you keep at home, I guess. I want to have a big A5 weekly layout and a small ring Moterm. Oh, I was just looking at Moterms earlier today on Amazon, but I can't get behind any of the colors. They're a little too, they're just not me. YouTube is all-time best for my inspiration. I agree, Sonny. I use it all the time. Used it to try to figure out why my wine sealer wasn't working. Used it one time when I had a leak in a pipe and what to do. It's impossible. Yeah, I mean, Kat, my only recommendation is to like do a test run, because sometimes with planners we think like this is what I have to use in 2023. Like I bought this for 2023 and I got to stick through it for 12 months. I kind of used to be that way, and then I would fail because I wouldn't actually use it. So maybe just tell yourself, okay, this week, let's try this A5 Moterm. I don't have to plan out the entire month or the entire year. Let's just use it for this week and see how it works for me. Yeah, the thing about Moterms is that I don't like any of the colors. They're all too a little, I don't want to say geared towards women. They're just not like neutral enough for me. The only one I really liked was like the mocha brown color. And I thought about getting it for my Stalogy, which size is it? Stalogy B6 size. I want to have an A5 in the pocket rings. Okay, you restricted. Okay. For me, so A5 is cousin, right? So, this is my Hobonichi. This is an old cover. This is a VEC, so this is only the half of last year. And I do have a notebook and all that stuff in there. A5, I don't know, I just go through love-hate relationships where it feels too big, but then I'll switch to something else and it feels too small. It's like Goldilocks where we can't find the perfect size. Cat, cut or fold paper to the size you're thinking of using and write notes, etc. on them. I don't like the price. I got mine custom made. Let's see. Yeah, that's the thing. These things become all pricey. See if it'll work for you. Yeah, even Tokyo Pen Shop, which I really should get a cut from their profits because I feel like I talk about them all the time. They actually have a service where if you order a Stalogy, I think they cut it down to fit into an A6 or something. So for a couple dollars, you can order the notebook and then they cut it down to the size you want. I'm not positive on the actual specs of that. On True A6, yeah, I'm finding that the size I'm really loving lately is the B6 Plus. I have a Leuchtturm that I'm using for my project I'm conducting, and it's like, I don't know, I just find it to be like the perfect size for me. I don't know what makes it the B6 Plus, but that's what it said on the packaging. And then maybe I think this is a B6 Plus. Okay, so this is from Daiso. This is a calendar for 2022. That's B6. This is kind of like my Leuchtturm, although I feel like the Leuchtturm's a tad bit smaller. I'm not sure. I talked about this before. I need to get a printout of sizing and hang it above my desk because I always get confused what's what. The hardest part is finding the size you love. Yeah, that's why the only thing I could think of is do like a try one, like I said, try one for 1 week, but then maybe not get a planner in that size, just buy a plain notebook and just sit down and write with it for a day or two and just see if the size works for you, and don't get too caught up on the planning aspect of it. Because if size is the real issue, we want to work that out first. I'm trying to see if I have anything here. So here's my personal planner. This is the File Effects personal size. And even though the cover is true File Effects and very nice, the insert is from Amazon and was not expensive. So this helped me kind of practice using a ring setup and on that size. So yeah, I wish I could be a person that just knew exactly what I wanted. It just always worked for me, but 2 weeks from now I could be like, oh, I hate Hobonichi A5. I never want to see a cousin again. Just ebbs and flows, really. Yeah, it's all the burnt orange. Burnt orange was nice. You like the pocket rings, which is the same size as Passport TN. Pocket rings, okay. Does it still have like the, how do you call that? Like the folder in the back, almost like it opens up like a wallet. In the pocket rings, I know I said this before, but I love the mini ones that Job has. It's like just like a baby. It's like a credit card size. I just like that. Here's my original Pan Am one. This baby is just really just. I want to film a video that I do a flip through, but I don't know. I just feel like, do people want to see like all my little, it's almost like I don't want to flip through these things right now either, because then I'll be sad that I'm not living in these places anymore. I don't know. I actually need to, one of my, one of the people I work with in Albany, he's going to London with his family next month, and he asked me for tips since I used to go there all the time. So I actually told him, oh, I need to look at my traveler's notebook at one of the times when I was at London, and I'll let you know the places I went. So that's one good reason to save what you do, because then years later you can go back and help someone out if they ask you where to stay and where to go. So this time I was there in June of 2018. Feels like just like yesterday, honestly. A6 and a pocket. Yeah, and honestly, you could also combine things, right? Like, if something doesn't have a pocket, or you want to have a secondary like notebook with your planner, because that's the other thing. I like having lots of notes pages or a separate thing to write in that's not your planner, for when you're out somewhere and someone needs you to write something down, you want to rip off a sheet of paper. That's why I do, like, with the Hobonichi, it's like you can buy the really thin notebooks that'll also fit in the pocket, or just put some sheets of paper, honestly. And this Hobonichi is from 2016, by the way. This is the first one I bought. I used to journal a lot in the standard. I'll have to say, if I had to pick one, I'm still gonna go for standard traveler's notebook. Just for me, the size is good. Which I forget, one of y'all, it was a certain brand where it's called like this, like A4 Slim or something, where it's basically traveler size notebooks, but that's what the size is. And when I was at Kinokuniya, New Jersey, I had bought, oh, maybe this is what it's called, A4 3. So it's like a third of an A4 piece of paper. It's like a third cut. I just like it because it doesn't weigh you down. If you have a traveler's notebook this size, and let's say you have like a tote bag or a purse or something, like, it doesn't take up a lot of space if you need to put it in something. That's kind of why I always go towards it. Of course, the passport size definitely doesn't take up a lot of space, but for someone like me with big hands, it's kind of hard to write a lot depending on what you're writing with. Like if you're writing words, or you're just kind of do like junk journaling where you're just really putting stuff in and all that. Just writing or with gluing something into my journaling went away when I saw my daughter picking up my File FX and showing it to my mom. Oh, well, I mean, you can always get back into it, right? I need to do more journaling to kind of like figure out some things in my life. If you want a good video to watch, Frank from Stationery 4, he just posted a video not too long ago about like why he journals. And even if me and him don't have like the same reasons, it's just interesting to learn like from someone else's mind what they do and like why they journal. Why do you write in Russian? Coffee. Well, I lived in Russia for many years. I worked there for my job, and I went to school there too for my study abroad semesters. So I speak Russian. Oh no, a lot of my stuff is private, so I would have. Well, yeah. The private things, yeah, CK, that's another issue. It's like, I want to do a live or just a video where it's like a 30-minute. I also have this idea where I want to do journal prompts and follow along with me, but I don't know about that. I want to journal about certain things, but me doing it on camera, it's like I don't want people reading my deep thoughts. So it's like, do I blur it out, or I don't know. That's the other thing with journaling. You want to go journal at a coffee shop, you know, people could be looking at you. If you want to be in your house journaling and your spouse or children or whatever start to look at it, or they want to look at it and you don't want to share it with them, like maybe they'll get offended, things like that. It's hard. B6stology. Okay, well, what's the size I bought? I'm so bad with sizes. What size is this? Is this B6? Whoops, it's got stuff on here. This is from Cloth and Paper. This is like I guess it's like a habit tracker. I got this from the stationery store that will not be named, that I won't go back to. I think you put your thing here and then you check off, I guess it's 30 days. I just like it because it's a sticky, so you could really put it in any notebook. Gives me so much clarity. I have to burn after writing journal. Oh, okay. Do you keep that like locked up, or no one knows where it is? That could be dangerous. I mean, I talked about in my last live, the therapeutic, benefits of journaling are proven with brain scans. So if you're going through something, there's nothing wrong with journaling about it. Even if you're trying to make a difficult decision, like I will be making some life decisions this summer about career changes and moving and all that stuff. And I know I'm going to journal about it for weeks to like kind of let it simmer and think of different scenarios in my head and what'll work for me. And also the thing about journaling is, in a world where everything is so digital and we kind of lost the art of those things, and you feel like you have to share all your stuff with people, either on social media or through email, or your friends text you or call you or Facebook posts. It's like sometimes you in a notebook, like you and your notebook and your pen, like maybe that's all you need at the moment. You don't need to involve all the external factors into that too. Now I'm getting too philosophical. It's getting late here. Yeah, Burn After Reading. Interesting. I think that was a movie title, Burn After Reading or something. I mean, I can't remember. I think it had Brad Pitt in it. Is anyone watching anything good? Have you watched any good movies, any series? Maybe you journal about them, or does anyone keep a media journal, or you like keep a list of things that you've watched? I really should do that because I always forget what I watched, and people ask me about it. I'm like, I forget what it's called, but it's about this lady in a French town and blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm bad with that. Do I have any other traveler's notebooks? I think those are my actual. I mean, these 4 are my traveler's notebooks. And I have a bunch of different refills. Where is my... I have a little tote bag, don't I? Yes, it's right here. I have one of the tote bags, and I keep the finished ones in the binders, which at first I thought, like, oh, I don't need to buy these binders to keep my used up journal pages. And then I was like, wait, it's kind of cool because it's like archival. So you can still like open it up and look through the pages individually. See, there's like these metal bars. So these are purchased from the Travelers Company. Pale Blue Eye. Okay, this is the thing with Gillian Anderson, right? Where Edgar Allan Poe's Helping Solve a Murder. I started that the other night, and I think I watched maybe 40 minutes of it, and for some reason I had to stop, which I love Edgar Allan Poe. I love Gillian Anderson. I love period dramas and period movies, but there was something about it where like it wasn't rubbing, like it was just late at night or something. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I'll give it another try. People read about them that they have are bad, then they could blame themselves. Yeah, true. And you don't want that, right? Sometimes it just needs to like do what you're processing. Was this my first? Yeah, I think I already showed this. June 2015. My goodness. I even wrote, oh my gosh, Midori Special, because this is back when they were called Midori. Midori Special Edition Blue Traveler's Notebook, purchased from Tokyo Pen Shop to be a companion for all life's travels. 28 June 2015. Wir sind Helden gekommen zu bleiben. Okay, I was listening to this song. And then countries I visited as of July 2015, states I visited. So this is like my kickoff to like my traveler's notebook obsession. And then after that, I went to Helsinki, Finland, and I journaled about it. So back then, I used my traveler's notebook as a journal during my travels, where I would really go into depth about like what I thought and I was experiencing, because that's kind of how I perceived as a traveler's notebook, as like a traveler's journal. And that wasn't until I started to look online, and I think I was following maybe like jet pens or something. I saw other people. Wow, I really did write a lot. Whew, my goodness, Helsinki. So then I was like, wait, I'm gonna start putting items into the notebook. So I like saved my boarding pass, and then that's when I started to get into it a little bit more. But again, I'm doing a lot of writing in these. Wow, I really should sit down and go through and read all the things that I wrote. Whew. Oh my gosh, look at this. I have a sticky note. 2015, best book I've read, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I don't know if anyone KonMari'd their life, but this is when it became like, I think I read it in Russian before I read it in English, because I was living in Russia at the time when the book came out. Okay, you said, I'll try it, I'll tell next week if I go. I mean, it's good. I love anything, like I said, period related, anything involving the lives of literary people, etc. So maybe you'll be fine with it. I just, sometimes you start watching something and you're like, I can't, I need to do it a different night. This is when I went to Armenia and Lithuania, and yeah, so notice how we go from like writing a lot to, and then I just got kind of tired of writing, and I just did a quick impressions of like the different cities I was at, and then instead of writing, I just kind of listed my feelings or what stood out to me the most. And then it turned into more of like just pasting things in and writing quickly. And then look, I did a pen test. Anyway, okay. Questions. Darn, you'll try. Okay, sorry if I missed it. How is it going with Amazon inserts in your rings? I haven't used it much, Amber, to be honest. No, I have, but I'm gonna think about this weekend, because what happened was I was at work and I needed to plan a bunch of stuff. I was sitting like in a conference room with people and I was planning all these things, but because I didn't have my personal planner with me, I couldn't remember what appointments I had made, because I don't write that stuff in my work planner. So now I'm realizing like it might be a problem if I have separate planners. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I will condense them into one. So either this also becomes my work planner or my Nulty. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I learned the hard way that I was like, I had to literally run back home to be on a 3 o'clock call that I wrote in my other planner. Yeah, so, but for the price, for a few dollars, this insert was great, but I am enjoying kind of using the rings just more like as a binder notebook, with my health and wellness and financial and household stuff. I was also thinking maybe just turning a File FX into just like a binder with tabs and just notebook pages and having different sections. Maybe to do a media journal, maybe to do a book journal, and then kind of decorating the pages like that. But I am enjoying the ring things finally, because I understand the benefits you have by moving pages around. And I never really thought about that before. I used to think it was like something that stood in your way, not realizing it's actually a tool to help you. So, what kind of job do you do in Russia? I work for diplomatic missions. So technically, I was a diplomat. I worked for embassies and consulates. So when I was there, I worked for the U.S. Embassy. And now I work here in DC. Yeah, that's, I mean, the benefits of the ring planner. And then I was even thinking of getting a bigger size because I do like the personal size rings. But then I'm like, wow, what if I had like an A5 with rings? Because then, like, all of my, like, charts and stuff I have to draw at work and planning, like, I could really use more space on my page. But then I feel like, well, would an A5 ring be really heavy and kind of annoying to carry around and carry on the metro? And I don't know. I have to think about that. But that's another example of you're not going to know until you try it, right? Like, I used to hate things with rings, and now I'm like, wait, this is pretty awesome. So just sometimes give things a try. Did I miss anyone's comments or questions? I feel bad. I probably should figure out how to make the font bigger so I can see better on my iPad. But we're getting there. It's less chaotic than the live test, right? I think we're all enjoying ourselves, sharing our different tips and tricks. Oh, look, so I started this last July 1st when I wanted to get back into Hobonichi in Albany, my hotel, and that's where I'm going again in 2 weeks. So maybe that'll. I think I'm staying in the same hotel, so maybe that'll inspire me. Filofax Clipbook A5 is the least heaviest A5 ever. I'll have to take a look because I don't have it right in front of me, but I have those Filofax. I don't know if it's the clipbook. I have one in A4. It's like the notebook with the metal rings that you can kind of just lay the paper down. I don't know if that's called the clipbook or not. And then I have a smaller one that's A5, and I actually like them. And they did come with index dividers too, which is pretty nice. But like I said before, Filofax USA doesn't have a lot of gender neutral colors and choices, and that drives me nuts. Yeah, so I can't wait to watch everyone's videos tomorrow, see what everyone's been up to. If you can believe it, January is almost over. We're going to be into February. Oh boy. Do you have a 5-year techo? No, Eugenie, I don't have a 5-year techo because I wasn't sure where I was going to be in 5 years. And I'm thinking, because I used to move around a lot internationally, and I'm going to be moving again this summer, but not internationally, probably. So I didn't want to buy a 5-year techo because a lot of times when I move, books get thrown out or I lose stuff, or I have to throw them out because I can't fit them in my move. So that's the only reason I never bought a 5-year techo. But does any of you all have a 5-year techo? Because now I'm thinking how cool it would be to be able to look back like 4 years ago, what you wrote about or what you thought about. That would be really cool. There was a woman on YouTube I watched. She had one of the 5 years. It was so thick, like, because she filled it, that it was so funny to watch. It was like this giant. I think she wrote on it every day, and maybe she did a little Polaroid from her Instax camera. I can't remember. But it was just when she finished her 4 years, the book was so filled that it like bent this way on the. I'm like, well, that's a very well lived in book if you did that for 5 years. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. I was thinking about getting one too, because I think there's more than just the Hobonichi 5-year now, right? I think I saw some other companies are starting to do the 5-year notebook, or maybe there was a 3-year one I saw. I don't know. The concept is really cool. Midori has 3 or 5. Okay, yeah, like maybe the 3 year one would be a good way to start because it's less of a commitment. Um, it's vegan organizer YouTube. Okay, yes, that's okay. That sounds familiar. I mean, the satisfaction you get of like a finished notebook or a filled notebook or like a just it's a nice feeling. That's how I feel about my blue traveler's notebook. Um, these weren't the original ones that I had in there. I used to swap them out, but I do keep 3 in here. Or no, right? Yeah, there's 3 in here. One of them is the thin paper, um, because when I lived in Russia, so this notebook is only about my living experience there. I purposely bought the thin paper because I knew over 4 years I was going to write a lot and keep a lot of records. So it is travel based, but it's to a specific location, where the other notebooks were about my actual trips and travel. Like this when I was in Tokyo. Um, I tried to keep that. Oh, this is when I went to totally randomly in Tokyo. I went to that stationery cafe, which was like the coolest thing ever. It was literally like a cafe, but they also had stationery stuff. And then they had tables of stationery you could use and try out, like while you were drinking your coffee or ordering your dessert or whatever. And the workers there at the time, like I was there, they didn't really know English very well, and I don't really know much Japanese. But when they found out that I knew what Hobonichi Tetras were, like as an American, they thought it was so cool, and they're asking me, they're like, "Oh, like they have Hobonichi in America?" I'm like, "Well, it kind of took off because this was in 2015, I think." I was like, "Oh, it kind of took off, and now people are starting to get into it because of the website, and they ship to the U.S. and like it was just a fun way to connect with like a total stranger over stationery." And I think I bought these washi stickers there. Okay, Nolte has 3 years too. Yeah, see, it's becoming more of a thing now. You could turn your weekly one into 5 year. Yes, that's true. I wonder if they would make a 5 year insert from Traveler's Company. That would be interesting. I mean, you could make one, right? Obviously, but I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool. This was when I was in Kazakhstan. This was the like national museum, which was super cool. Um, Here's like a movie ticket. I think when I was in Kazakhstan, I went to the movie theaters. Um, yes, and I saw. I think it was in English. It was Alice in Wonder. Is that Alice in Wonderland? Like, I don't know if that's Alice in Wonderland, or there was like a redo of Alice in Wonderland in 2016 or something. I forget. Yeah, Amber. The thing about creating your own is like it takes a lot of time, and then I'm always worried I'm gonna mess up, like, and then I'm mad at myself. This was when I used to go to Greece. Um, this is my favorite chocolate that I always used to get, and I saved the wrapper just because I liked it. And then in 2018, I did go to the Gilmore Girls Festival in Connecticut, and this is like the ribbon that you got, like your around your wrist, and I saved it and put it in my notebook. That was a fun experience. Yeah, I don't know if I journaled about it when I was there. I can't remember. How did you like or dislike Russia? I loved it. Um, Obviously, I wouldn't be going back now. Also, I probably would not get a visa, to be honest. And I was living there when they were going through a lot of like issues where they were kicking people out of the country and all that kind of stuff. But I loved it. I would go there again if I could. I would go there and work. It's just very different, and Moscow is a very large city where things are always happening. And the only downside I would say to Russia is like people speaking English is not very common. Also, like when you speak English, people might like heckle you or harass you. in a lot of places. So if you don't speak the language, I think it's kind of hard to live there and be able to do a lot of like bureaucratic administrative things and like go shopping and all that stuff. Like it helps to know Russian, I would say. Mexico is cool. I've only been to Cancun and somewhere else I can't remember. And I really wanted to go to Mexico City, Amber, like this spring for like a little vacation because there's direct flights from DC, but it's the flights were so expensive. They're like $800. And like that's too much just to go to Mexico City. Traveled a bit throughout the world. Where was your favorite place that you've been, Kat? Um, I actually have a map. I have one of those maps in my living room with a pin of each city I've been to around the world. And then there's one place that's like still on my bucket list that I don't know if I'll ever get to go to, but yeah, when I was little, all I did was think about traveling. I was like, I want to get a job where I can travel and be anywhere but here. And I was obsessed with it. But then the pandemic happened, right? And it kind of forced me to slow down and realize how nice it is to not travel and just be one place and kind of just explore other things you've wanted to do. For me, it was I did a lot more reading and got into YouTube and got into stationery and learned musical instruments and went for walks and just kind of worked on my mental health. So that was kind of like a blessing in disguise. Also, I signed up for a master's degree. That was like my pandemic midlife crisis thing. Seoul. Oh, I bet that's awesome. Haven't been to Seoul. New York's great. London's great. Yeah. There's a couple. I think it was it Mon from Monica the Journal? Did she go to Seoul recently? I think she did a vlog where she went to Seoul and went to all those like sticker stores because a lot of those sticker brands are Korean and it just looks super awesome. Hong Kong, yeah, I was supposed to go to Hong Kong for my job, but the Chinese government kind of rejected what we were planning to do, and it's kind of off the table for now. I don't think I'll get to go for work. Oh, okay. Oh wow, okay. It was not tourist friendly. I had fun, but it was scary. Yeah. If you're not in like a tourist friendly area, I guess that's kind of rough. But at least you got to like see somewhere else. I think that's the most important thing about traveling is seeing how other people live and knowing that there's either people that are very much like you or people who are different. And it's nice to kind of see those differences. Like there are certain things I miss when I lived in other countries, just like the one lady who always rung me up at the grocery store. Like I think about her sometimes. I wonder how she's doing. And just people I used to chat with kind of like on a more daily basis. Because that's what travel is about too, right? Is like connecting with people. Yeah, you're totally right, Amber. And not even other countries. I think a lot of Americans, if they went to other states or they went to outside of their city and they went to a different town or whatever, I think they would have more compassion and they would understand each other better because there's a lot of people who don't leave their bubble and I don't think it's healthy. South America. Where in South America is your favorite? I would love to go to like Chile or Argentina. I mean, I would go anywhere pretty much. Um, I'm the kind of person where, like, I don't care if it's a small town in the middle of Ohio. Like, I'll have fun. I'll find something to write about, something to explore. Yeah, I think going to other towns and cities, just even for a day, like, you can go somewhere else on a day trip and not spend a lot of money and just kind of explore a different thing or something like that. California and New Mexico are very different than the Midwest. I have I been to the Midwest? Um, I don't think Chicago counts. No. There's a chance I might be moving to the Midwest this summer, so that would be truly an adventure. But I mostly am used to the Northeast. That's where I grew up. Um, yeah, you do not have to go far to find new things. That's absolutely correct. St. Louis, Missouri. Okay. Um, haven't been to St. Louis. The places I might be moving this summer include there's places in Ohio, Illinois, Tennessee, one's in Michigan, and one's in Texas. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of places, but I'm sure St. Louis has a lot to offer. Isn't St. Louis near Kansas City, or like at least it's not? Is it far from Kansas City? I know that I read an article in what was it, like Condé Nast, like Travel Magazine, where like Kansas City, Missouri was ranked really high for like things to do and tourist friendly, and like people were moving there and stuff. I don't know how true that is, but it seemed interesting what I read. Traveling broadens the view. Absolutely, 100%. Um, the things I saw and experienced, I carry with me every day when I'm just living my life here. I wish more people were able to see that. Opposite side of the state. Sorry, I'm not good with. I thought it was maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else that's close to Kansas City. Maybe when I was looking at a job somewhere at one of the universities down there. I can't remember where. Dayton, Ohio. Is that Northeast Dayton, Ohio? Dayton, Sunny, because I one of the places I might end up moving is Cincinnati. Kansas City, Missouri is nice. Okay, yeah. I had a high school friend who like somehow ended up in Kansas City and she loves it. Southwest Ohio. Yeah, I was going to apply to something in Bowling Green, Ohio, um, but they ended up canceling the thing. So then north of Cincinnati. Okay, yeah. So Cincinnati's on my list, and Oxford, Ohio, where Miami University is. I think it's called Oxford. That's also on my list. Never been to Ohio, so we'll see. Obviously, I would visit somewhere before I move, or at least have an idea of moving there. And then, oh, did I say Illinois? There's two places in Illinois that I could possibly move to. Oxford is awesome. Is it? Because when I looked at Google Maps, it looked like a really small town. And I got nervous. Because after living in a city of 20 million people and like, I was like, oh, am I going to be able to survive in like a really tiny town? um, but I hear good things about it, so kind of the nice thing about growing up in the Northeast is like we're close to everything, right? Like I could go to New York and DC just for the day on the train. Small college town, lots to do. Okay, good to know. That will be the out of the 9 things I applied to, the chances of me getting the one in Oxford is probably zero. That would be the hardest one, so I don't expect to get that, but you never know. I've been to other states. Illinois is only 20 minutes away, so I don't really count that as travel. Hey, when you're going somewhere else that has different culture and different food, that counts as travel, right? Um, yeah, I've only been to Chicago and Illinois. I haven't been to the two places I might move in Illinois are DeKalb, Illinois, and Normal, wherever Illinois State University is. Um, whatever city that is. Maybe it's Normal Bloomington or something like that. That's on my list. I would love to go to California, but I don't. I didn't want to go somewhere where the cost of living is super high. Because one of the places I looked at was Riverside, California, but I just can't do it. I mean, where I live now, everything is super expensive and insane. But with the internet and with Amazon, you can find your happiness anywhere, right? It doesn't have to be in like a big city. Well, we've been live streaming for 2 hours now, so I feel like that was successful, which is good that my phone lasted that long. So now I know if I have my phone fully charged, we can go for 2 hours. Princeton? It was a great town. Like Princeton, New Jersey? Where Princeton University is? Oh, Michelle's here. Welcome, Michelle. Jumped in to say hi from Boston. I talked about Boston multiple times on this live stream, Michelle, because I was there for New Year's, busy visiting my best friend. So in my journal, I put some some of the things I got in like the hotel I stayed at and my Charlie ticket. um, yeah, my friend went to Boston, moved to Boston for law school when we were back in the day when we were still youngins, and she ended up staying there and has a whole life there now. So for the past decade, I used to visit a couple times a year. I love Boston. You're doing such a good job with your channel. Oh, thank you so much. I am trying. I'm really learning the ropes and not always sure what I'm doing. And a lot of times I'm losing subscribers, but that's not really what it's about. I'm just trying to have fun and kind of build a community. So probably after this, I'll lose a bunch of subscribers, but hey, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, right? Real estate in Ohio is cheap in comparison. Yeah, that's one reason why Ohio's on my list. It would allow me to do what I want to do in a way that is more normal than here. Yes, please watch the playback at your leisure. Maybe if you have something you want to work on, you can just hear me rambling in the background, answering questions. Eugenia's gonna go to New York next month. Do you have any favorite places, shops, or restaurants there? Oh, well, it's gonna depend where in New York you're going, how long you're there, what you like to do. I mean, you should try to go to Kinokuniya across from Bryant Park. You could go to Muji if you're into Muji. I think Yoseka Stationery is in Brooklyn. If anyone knows, I'm pretty sure it's all the way in Brooklyn. So it's like, do you have time to go to Brooklyn? Are you doing just like touristy things? Are you visiting family or friends? That kind of factors in all that. I'm sure you'll have a good time though. Um, Especially now that everything's kind of opened up again. There's a really good Brazilian steakhouse my friends always take me to, or not steak, yeah, steakhouse. It's like really nice and classy, and they have like a band playing, and it's just we always have a really nice time. That's in Hell's Kitchen. Um, and then Koreatown, because my friend is Korean American, and we met in college, and she moved up there for her job. She's a professor, and we always go to all these different like traditional Korean restaurants that she knows of, and they're always so good too. The Ink Pad in the West Village. I've never heard of that. Okay. If you're only in Manhattan, West Village is definitely doable. Yeah, I think when I was in New York last time, the only stationery store I went to was Kinokuniya, and I was with my friends, and they're not really into stationery, so like I had to be quick, and like they didn't really understand my excitement, so we were kind of in and out quickly, and I grabbed a few things. Because I like felt bad that they were kind of just like lingering and be like, all right, let's go to the restaurant. I was like, no, but they have like a whole Coletto section of Uniball this and washi tapes, and they're like, okay, whatever. She opened in the late '90s, mostly rubber stamps. Oh, okay. Does anyone remember that pencil store, the CW pencil store that's now closed? I had followed them when they first opened, and I was so excited to be like, oh, someday I'm gonna go there. And then when I finally was making my next trip to New York, I like saw that they went out of business or they closed down or whatever. They had like a closing sale, and I know some of the YouTube channels went and did like a buyout, or like they bought a bunch of stuff that was on clearance and then they did tests. That was more like pencils, like they sold traditional wooden pencils. Yeah, I feel like it wasn't even open that long. I don't know. I'm fully supportive of any like I don't know if y'all do this if you go visit another town. I actually put in Google Maps like stationery because I want to see if there's happens to be like a stationery store or a bookstore that has stationery. Usually, when you search stationery, the things that come up are Staples or Office Depot or Barnes and Noble. Which Barnes and Noble Notebook Session has definitely been kicking it up a notch lately. But when I was in Sacramento for work, I looked up stationery. When I was in Birmingham, Alabama, I think I looked up stationery. In Albany, I looked and I don't think there was anything. Or it ends up being like a printing company like where they print stuff. It's not really like what we think, what we would call stationery, but it never hurts to try. That's how I found paper seahorse. Well, I didn't find it, but like I was literally flying to Tampa, and then I got the email from Travelers Company about the new partner shops, and I was like Tampa, Florida, and then I googled their address, and it was literally like 10 minutes from the airport. And I was like, okay, once I come out of the airport, I'm directly going to the paper seahorse to get my Travelers Notebook stamps. You RV travel and Google stationery. Yes, and if you're RVing, you can like plan around your trip, right? You can kind of know where you want to go or like stay in one place longer, I guess. Um, there was one stationery store somewhere. Maybe it was in on one of my trips, but like they were only open till 2 o'clock, and I wouldn't have gotten there in time, so I decided not even to try. Maybe that was in Sacramento. I can't remember. Um, how awesome would it be to like open a stationery cafe? Like I would love to do that, like a coffee shop slash really just a place where people. It's not so much about selling the products; it's about giving a place for people to be able to use and share their products. Like I would love to have like if even if I just owned like a coffee shop, like on Friday nights it's journal night, and we set up tables and like people can come and bring their journals and exchange things or talk about it. It's like just giving you a space to share with other people, which is kind of how I view YouTube. It's a space that people can meet virtually to share the things they like to do. But it would be so nice to have more like in person things. But we're kind of all spread out, so it's not that easy. Yarn. Well, yarn has become like a thing now, right? With crochet and knitting, and there's a lot of yarn shops, and it's becoming more popular, I think. Yeah, hard to meet up. You're absolutely right. Someday, I know Joe always meets with people, right? He always has like his little meetups in San Francisco or Vancouver or whatever, but maybe it's just because there's more like a concentration of people in that area who do. Because, like, what? Travelers Company is headquartered in California. So maybe there's more people there that are into that. Or like Toronto, we talked about last time. What's that one store in Toronto? Um, I can't remember. Yes, that would be like the dream. Coffee shop and stationery shop. I did when I worked in Shanghai. There was like a stationery store that was like as close to like a Japanese stationery store as you could imagine. And I think the cafe part wasn't open, but it was kind of like that vibe where they sold all kinds of Japanese stationery, and it was across from the foreign language bookstore. So I think it drew a lot of like foreign students and customers. And I used to go there like before work and look at all the Colettos, and I'm always looking for things that I can't get elsewhere. So I try to buy when I'm in an in-person stationery store. I try to buy things that aren't easy to find online, or the shipping becomes like an issue. And that's why at Kinokuni I was so happy to find the Nolte planners for 2023, because they were all there and they were all like normally priced, and I wouldn't have to worry about shipping and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like with Hobonichi. Imagine if there was a store near you where you could go and look at the entire Hobonichi lineup and just buy it in person, and how that like would maybe make things a little bit easier. I am liking the Nolte. I don't have it in front of me, but I have one major complaint. That the do I have something in front of me that I can demonstrate? Yes, on the Hobonichi. The pen loop doesn't stay out. So if you have your pen in here, right, and like you sit down at work and like, okay, I'm gonna take out the pen and start writing, all my stuff, it like folds back in and it gets under the paper and it drives me nuts. And I'm like, how did like the Japanese designers are always good at this. It folds back in. I wish it could stay out. So it's kind of I guess I'm just gonna have to keep the pen in there and then use a different pen to write with. or not put a pen in there and then keep it folded back. So that's my only complaint about the Nolte. I love the paper quality. I love the look of it. Even someone at work the other day was like, "Oh, I like your notebook there," because I got like the brown pleather, like classy looking one. But that's my only complaint, that the thing like gets in your way. Maybe it's just mine. Maybe it's just how I think. But it was driving me crazy the other day at work. Yeah, some of the stores, I mean, you can even get Hobonichi, I think, on JetPens a lot now. And because JetPens has the like threshold for free shipping, it can make it worth it, but then you don't get like all the free and limited edition things that the Hobonichi people actually send you. Um, but it's nice if you're in a pinch. Like I ordered my Avec last year from Amazon because it was randomly on sale. And instead of me going through the whole website and ordering it, I could order it off Amazon just to give it a try. Yeah, and I think back when I first got, like, it used to be you could only get Hobonichi from their website, and you had to pay like the insane tax and $25 shipping or whatever. That's what this cover in 2015 when I first got a Hobonichi. That's where this was from. Um, you couldn't get anything except from them. But it's nice that JetPens does it. But everything on JetPens sells out so quickly, right? Like, what's my favorite Russian food? Oh, that's a good question. My goodness. I mean, I like everything. I cook a lot of like Russian and Polish food at home. Um, I don't know how it's called, but I love kasha, like buckwheat. And there's one where you make it with like pork. So it's like pork and buckwheat. Has anyone ever had? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had pierogies, but there's also like vananiki, which is the Ukrainian version of pierogies. And I used to make ones that had sweet cherries in them. That was very good. Or ones with cabbage and potatoes. Um, in Russia, we used to eat a lot of Uzbek food and a lot of Georgian food, which isn't really popular here. My friends and I, we would always say like a lot of Uzbek or Georgian places would become super popular in the U.S. if people were just like exposed to it more. I think there are some Georgian places now in some of the bigger cities, but like the food is very good, and you would think it'd be popular with Americans. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm trying to think of like what I used to eat all the time. I did cook a lot when I was there. Do you prefer Tomorrow River 52 or 68, or it doesn't matter? Which is the one that I have for, let's see. This is this is 52. I feel like the 52 is really thin. Oh, look at this one. This one is Tomoe River Sake technical paper. So I don't know if that makes it different, but it's Tomoe River. I bought this in Maryland. It takes perfectly well from a fountain pen, but it is really thin. Like, I mean, it's almost like tracing paper, but since it holds up ink well, and when I write on this, I don't rip it or anything, so it doesn't bother me. But I've only tried 52. I don't know if I've tried the 68. Does anyone know in the Hobonichi if it's 52 or 68? I don't know if it says it in the front. But I still say that Kokyo makes the best paper, and that's the hill I shall die on. I don't think it says on this one from 2022. No. Weeks is 52. Okay. I bet you this is the same as Weeks then. It feels like it. Which one, Katie, did you never try? The Tomari River 68? 52? Which paper is Hobo Cousin? Didn't it change this year? Does anyone know that as well? I didn't do anything for Hobonichi 2023, which I'm sure I'll regret in a couple weeks. I'll be like, oh, I should have ordered that. And maybe I will when the April line comes out. But my favorite, oh, Kokuyo. Not even like a competition. Every Kokuyo I've ever written in, this is one of the examples. This is actual Kokuyo paper. Do I have any more in front of me? The smoothest paper for any kind of writing implement. Here's another one. These are the campus ones. You can get these in bulk off Amazon. I can link it. I find it like the smoothest paper. Like it almost feels like it has a gloss to it. Even my Barnes & Noble has some Kokuyo. This brand. Kokuyo. Absolute best. Doesn't get like the recognition. I think it's because maybe they mostly make notebooks and not like journals. That it doesn't get like the attention as like a journal type paper or anything. I wish they did, or maybe they do in Japan. It just like hasn't made it to US yet. But mostly they're using for like notebooks, which I love them. I have ones with rings. I have grid. I have plain ones. I think when I was in Kinokuniya, I bought some. I have a plain one somewhere, not in front of me. Yeah, so I love Kokuyo. Actually, maybe this notebook is Kokuyo. 68, whichever cousin. No, your favorite. Definitely would try it. I was talking about that stationery store in Shanghai, and when I was living and working there, I bought this. I think this is a Lee Hit Lab, one of those, or something. What is it called? I don't know. But they had, I think this is Kokuyo. Maybe this isn't Kokuyo. Yeah, so the cover is Lee Hit Lab. I'm pretty sure this is Kokuyo paper. It is just like the best paper. Again, it's mostly like notebooks. Yeah, it doesn't say on here. Side note, this is a random Coletto that I got when I was in Shanghai. Every day is a new day. The future starts today, not tomorrow. Pilot Japan, 4 colors. Oh wait, does it have the label on here? I also try to save the label on stuff. No, this is for the... Maybe this... Okay, no. This notebook is Lee Hit Lab. But I feel like they use Kokuyo paper. Does it say? Lee Hit Lab Smart Fit, which I'm pretty sure they also have stuff on jet pens. No, maybe it's just different paper, but it's very similar. But yeah, I get Kokuyo notebooks off Amazon. You can usually get like a 10-pack for like $18 sometimes when it's on sale. And the notebooks usually have like 40 or 50 pages in them, so they're not as thick as American notebooks, but that's one reason why I like them, because it's short and sweet. All right, this is gonna go back in. So this is the thing I was talking about. Clairefontaine, yes, okay, got a Clairefontaine item right here. This is from, you can actually get these at, I can't even remember where I got this. I'm totally drawing a blank. Where did I buy this? I actually use this for work as like I like the reporter style. Also wonderful paper. And like Rhodia, Katie, I don't know if you have like an art store near you, but they sell a lot of Rhodia pads. Rhodia pads work great with fountain pens, and they're very smooth, kind of like the Kokuyo. And then the Clairefontaine is also just, this is French made paper, and it's super fountain pen friendly. I wonder if it has the weight. This is 90, well, I don't know how you say it, 90 grams per, I don't know. I want to say I feel like I got this at like an art supply store. Sometimes art supply stores, y'all, if you're looking for in-person, sometimes they will sell a lot of stationery items. Like we have Blick here, which is a Chicago-based art supply store, and they will sell certain like Fabriano notebooks, and they'll have Lloydstroms, and they'll have in like their individual writing section, they'll have like Stabilos and some pilot items and Uniballs. So always take a look at your art supply stores for some of this stuff. Keenbor, which is a hobo copy, but the hobo interesting. Okay, it's like a dupe. This is another item I got. This is British paper. This is Sylvine. I also got this. This is just like classic paper. I got this at the local stationery store here. I haven't written on it yet. And then also this brand, which I'm not even gonna say, which I think you can get off Jet Pens. This I bought at the Paper Seahorse in Tampa. This is Nemosign. That's very smooth. Also similar to the Kokio paper. I bought this one because it's graph on one side and plain on the back. I don't know why I like that. And it turns this way. Again. I bought this because I never saw anything like this before until I was in the store. That's what influences. This is A5, 70 sheets with 80 grams per square meter? That doesn't sound right. I don't know. This is from Madoman. I've heard of both those brands and haven't tried them. We have a Blick across town. Yes, if you get a chance to go to Blick, I don't know if you've ever, it's Fabriano. So Fabriano. It's Italian paper. I use their sketchbooks and stuff, but they also sell notebooks, and you'll see them, they're like brightly colored. Some are like notepads inside of a notebook, and then some of them are just A4 or A5, just bound notebooks. Really great quality of their paper and not expensive. I would say you can get their smaller notebooks just like a couple dollars. So it's not like you're paying a lot, but the quality is really good. And then this turns like the notebook show here. Is this Kokio? Let me see. No, again, okay, so Lee Hit Lab. I got this did I get this at Kinokuniya? I can't remember. I got it because it's beige, and I like beige. This is also Lee Hit Lab, but this is made in Vietnam, which is why I think they're a little less expensive. It's still really good quality, but not as smooth as Kokio paper, in my opinion. But they make a lot of like ring notebooks and all that stuff. I'm always hunting down different notebooks. I'm always intrigued by like the different paper. Oh, we have another Clairefontaine. This is an A4 lined pad. This I probably got either from Goulet Pens or the Pen Boutique, which is a store. They have a storefront in Columbia, Maryland, and they sell tons of this stuff that I haven't seen anywhere else. That's where I got the Tomori River paper that I was showing you, Jeannie. This one, and I think I got this A4 pad from there. Yeah, so that's also Clairefontaine, the French brand. But I think any paper that you'll actually use and you like is totally worth it. Like sometimes I just want good old Dollar Tree. You know those yellow notepads or like legal pads? I use them a lot too. These. Like I know they're not fountain pen friendly. I usually use mechanical pens with these, but when I'm drafting things for work or I'm drafting research plans and stuff, I like to write it out on these like yellow pads. There's something about the yellow that helps my eyes. I don't think I have any other notebooks in front of me except. So this is that twist. I was just talking about the Lee Hit Lab. That's a little bit less expensive. This from Kinokuniya, so it's $2.55 for the refill. And I'm sorry, I do have. And then I bought the lined, but I use this. This is like their little like refillable notebook that opens up. I'm obsessed with journals and notebooks too, Amber. I'm not even kidding you that like if If I could get a job where all I do is just like deal with that, I'd be in heaven. I just wanted to try this because it was a less expensive alternative to some of the other ones. So it's like you just hold it here and the ring's open and then you refill it. So it's one of those ring notebooks. You've probably seen ones from like Jet Pens. I went for this one because it was little. I wanted to try the littler size. And then because they have refill paper, you can kind of swap out the different paper. Pretty sure they have more choices, but I just was like, oh, I'll just try this out. I wanted to try an A6. Again, and that's another thing that you don't always see, or it's like you don't know if you want to order it online because you don't know if you're going to like it. And this is fun and random. This I got from Pen, I think when I went to Pen Boutique Limited, when I bought like just some random items, they give you like a nice bag from Pilot. Was that where I got this from? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I saved it because I was like, how often do you get like a nice like shopping bag at a pen store from Pilot? Random, I know. You got some notebooks and clearance at Walmart. Carrying one as a brand up. Yes, I remember you talked about that one. What brand it was? Like it begins with an E, right? Like Excelsior, Excess, something. Oh yeah, and I watched your video where you did your long-term like setup. Those notebooks are nice. I know I tried one. Exceed, yes. Katie put Exceed. That is, they're kind of like the same as like Moleskine or Leuchtturm, but they're not $25 a piece. Because some of those get really expensive too. Especially those limited edition Moleskines. If you're like at Barnes & Noble and you're looking like, oh, this one has cherry blossoms on it. That's cute. And then you turn around, it's like $34.99. I'm like, no, that's crazy. Yes, Exceed. I have an Exceed like A6 hardback that was like $4.99 that I used to refill a leather A6 journal cover that I bought handmade when I was in Lithuania, which I use to jot down things on my other desk where I work from. Because I was like, oh, well, I bought this notebook in Lithuania, I can't get the refills. But I went to Walmart and I just tried one and it fit into the pocket, is what I'm trying to say. Don't know if that made much sense. I'm also always looking for like alternative refills, right? Like sometimes I don't want to buy things because then I know I'll never be able to get the refills again, or I'd have to order them specially or whatever. So I like to see, sometimes I do that at Dollar Tree. For example, here's another notebook that I've never seen in Dollar Tree ever since. And I talked about it in one of my videos, probably one of my Dollar Tree haul videos. This is like a dupe of the Apica notebooks or the Life notebooks. It's like that same shape. It's like is this B5? And like the same like cardboardy material that the Apica notebooks are. But obviously the paper quality and stuff's not the same, and it's not like Japanese ruled or French ruled. But I swear, like that's what they were trying to do. They're trying to make these dupes for these things. But I've never been to a Dollar Tree again where they had these. It was like a one-time only type thing. So, yeah. Apica is also a really great brand. That's probably the first like nice notebooks I bought from Tokyo Pen Shop. I'm pretty sure you can get some of them on Amazon. And fun fact, there's a movie I watched, I forget what movie it was, and they used Apica notebooks in it, and someone posted like on their social media, just like how there was a movie once where they used a fountain pen, like I think it was I don't know if it was a Pilot Vanishing Point. It was like a scene where like some big actor was like signing something, and then people on like the stationery forums were like posting pictures of the movie, being like, "Oh my God, they used a Pilot pen, whatever. Brad Pitt signed whatever." It was just funny. I just remember them using an Apica notebook, and I was like, "Oh, I have one of those." Like whatever production assistant who was buying the products that they were going to use in the movie either was like a stationary person or they went somewhere that sold those brand of things. I was like, oh, just get this one. Which is random. So I think we should call it a night. It's 11:30 here. That was a 2.5 hour live Friday night journal session, which was awesome. I had fun. I hope you all did too. Um, if you think of things that you want to do on these lives, or you want to see, or you want to try out, feel free to let me know. Um, or if you just want to do chats or whatever, like, I'm all for it. Um, I hope you all get to do something this weekend involving journaling or planning, or maybe get your inspiration cat, try something different to see if it'll work for you. I also suggest watching other people's videos. So if you think you want an A5 Moterm, blah, 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 like type that in the search bar and just look up the most recent uploads to see how other people are using it, and it might help you kind of figure out if that's working for you. You're playing next week as I was watching. That's awesome. I'm glad you're planning on a Friday night, because I can't even think about beyond tomorrow morning. When I open my new espresso, that's like all I'm thinking about, because next week's also going to be a crazy week at work, and I just haven't even planned it yet. But yeah, so again, thanks for all. I'm getting tongue tied now. Thank you all for joining me. And I will make sure I post somewhere, whether it be on my community board, or I'll put a premiere video, or I'll say my next, like, when I plan on going live next. I'm gonna try to go again next Friday night for sure. But I might do some impromptu lives, like if I wake up early one day and I want to do a little bit of journaling, I might just go live. That way, if you're in Asia and it's a better time for you, you could maybe watch some of it and journal along with me. So if you have your little notification buttons turned on, I think you would get notified if I go live. Not sure how all that works. We're just kind of learning as we go here. So, all right. Well, you all have a good weekend. I'll be watching a lot of your videos, so expect comments from me tomorrow, because I really want to get caught up. So take care, and I will see you next time. And let's see if I can even end this live. How do I do this? Okay, X. Okay, end stream. There we go.